Another handshake, another promise. The DRC and M23 rebels vow to sign peace by August 18th, but with no ceasefire enforcement, no troop withdrawals, and no guarantees. Qatar calls it a breakthrough. Locals fear another dead agreement. After 30 years of war and 6 million dead, is this real progress or just another deal built on distrust? Democratic Republic of Congo and the M23 rebel group pledged to sign a peace agreement by August 18th at a ceremony in Doha on Saturday, a sign of progress even as outstanding details need to be negotiated. Representatives of both sides signed a declaration of principles laying out the new timeline at the ceremony that followed months of Qatari mediation after talks began in April.
We are confident and we are hopeful. As indicated earlier this morning, I had very fruitful discussions this week with both Presidents Tshisekedi and President Kagame, and I really would like to thank them for their full commitment. They have both shown full commitment towards this peace, towards this process, towards ending this conflict peacefully, and towards the prosperity of the region. This is extremely important. It's a region that has suffered for too long, at least 3 decades, at least 6 million lives were lost and millions of displaced and refugees are suffering. So they have both committed to resolving this, and we've seen nothing but good faith from them.
Qatar's foreign minister called the development a pivotal step towards national reconciliation.
This declaration not only represents a commitment to stop the violence, but also constitutes a pivotal step and a practical roadmap towards national reconciliation. It lays the groundwork for a new phase of partnership among the various components of society in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, including armed movements that have chosen to prioritize the greater national interest. It also opens the way for an effective role for the international community to support peace-building efforts and promote sustainable development in conflict-affected areas.
The United States, which hosted separate talks between the governments of Congo and Rwanda, exerted pressure to finalize a durable peace deal in Congo. President Donald Trump has made clear he hopes that upcoming peace in the region would spur Western investment into a country rich in tantalum, gold, cobalt, copper, lithium, and other minerals. In the agreement signed in Doha, the warring parties agreed to uphold their commitment to a permanent ceasefire, including refraining from hate propaganda and any attempt to seize by force new positions. The deal includes a roadmap for restoring state authority in eastern DRC and an agreement for the two sides to open direct negotiations toward a comprehensive peace agreement. Congolese presidential envoy Sumbu Sita Mambu and M23 Permanent Secretary Benjamin Mbonimpa shook hands after signing the deal at a ceremony in the Qatari capital. The M23 had insisted on seeking its own ceasefire deal with Kinshasa, saying the DRC-Rwanda deal signed in Washington in June left out various problems that still needed to be addressed. The two sides said the new deal aligned with the Washington Agreement, which US President Donald Trump at the time called the start of a new chapter of hope and opportunity for the region. The African Union hailed the new agreement as a significant development, saying,
"This marks a major milestone in the ongoing efforts to achieve lasting peace, security, and stability in eastern DRC and the wider Great Lakes region."
Congolese government spokesman Patrick Muyaya said the deal took account of the DRC's red lines, including the non-negotiable withdrawal of the M23 from occupied areas, followed by the deployment of our institutions, including the armed forces. He also notified that the comprehensive peace agreement would follow in the coming days. The two sides agreed to implement the deal's terms by July 29th at the latest, and to start negotiations toward a comprehensive agreement by August 8th. In Bukavu, residents reacted with caution, urging both parties to be sincere in their commitments. We are beginning to fear that if one side releases political prisoners and the other does not, what would happen? Asked Albert Matabaro, a local resident.
We are beginning to fear that if one side releases political prisoners and the other does not, what would happen to the one who did not respect the agreement? But also, we continue to ask the AFC M23 to be very sincere in its commitments, and the Kinshasa government to also be sincere and not repeat what we experienced last time, when we were told there would be a ceasefire while weapons continued to fire here and there.
Others noted that the agreement remains provisional.
My reaction is to wait for a final agreement, but until now, they are still only at an agreement in principle. When will the final agreement come? Because we, the common people, are suffering. If they are still at the stage of an agreement in principle, when will the final agreement come? The population expected a final agreement to be signed soon. The household basket here in Bukavu is becoming a headache. There is no work, all banks are closed, cooperatives too. It's hard to move around to find something to eat. We've had enough.
Notably, the declaration doesn't mandate troop withdrawals or resolve confidence-building issues such as prisoner releases or access to banking in rebel-held areas, Reuters reported. However, it commits both parties to begin negotiations by August 8th and finalize a comprehensive peace agreement within 10 days. An official involved in the talks told Reuters that the deal includes a mechanism for a permanent ceasefire and restoring state control over eastern Congo. In January, the M23 rebel group seized control of Goma and expanded across North and South Kivu provinces with Rwandan support. The fighting killed thousands and displaced hundreds of thousands more. Kigali, however, has denied backing the rebels and says its forces act in self-defense against hostile militia. In June, the foreign ministers of Rwanda and Congo signed a peace deal in Washington. US President Donald Trump, who pushed for a final settlement to unlock mineral investment in Congo, warned of severe penalties if any deal is violated.